So here we go. This is it. I'm just going to do a quick sound check. That sounds okay. We are good to go. What a race it's going to be, I tell you. Don't know why it makes that sound when it's going down. Remember, big shout out to our sponsor Rock Solid Rigs and also our partner TTL Esports. We are ready to go here in Catalonia. Oh, it looks a bit murky. We've not had any rain today, so I did expect to see some clouds this evening. I hope for the driver's sake that it's not going to be raining, but wow, would it bring some excitement. Turbo Snail, if you do good, you're not just going to end up moving to gold. Don't worry about it. You know, you've got to be in the right division. You want to be competitive. You want to race against drivers who are at a similar pace to you are. That's what it's all about. It's about being the best version of yourself and competing against the drivers that are just as good. If we think you're in the wrong division, you're in the wrong division. Doesn't mean you're going to be any less competitive. If you're a great driver, you're a great driver.
Thank you, guys. My time.
Thank you so much, Maggie. Subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 21 months. That's nearly 2 years of subscriptions. Thank you so much, Gaz. Really appreciate that, mate. Right, I have got no audio at all of the game, so just bear with me. Oh, it's because there is no volume of the game. I had to turn music off because I kept getting copyrighted on YouTube, which was very annoying. So we'll get the lap data off, we'll turn the telemetry off, and we'll turn the tyres off. There's no need for that. We know what tyres the drivers are going to be using, so there's no movement in the garage yet. I'm guessing Frost is cryptic. You did an incredible job today. You are going to relish in the silver division. I looked at your time actually when I was inputting the data for the standings. I had a look at your time, and you would have qualified. I think it was sort of P5 or P4 in the silver division for this race today, which is incredible. So the big talking point: Ed Williams, the Alpine driver, the creator. The co-creator of Formula 7 racing, me and him, it was just an idea one day in the work van. He is back from a long break and he is back on track, and it's amazing to see him back and racing as well. So I cannot wait to commentate on some of his driving and see what he can do here in Spain. It's just brilliant seeing his name back on track, and B-Right will absolutely love that. Great friends on and off the track as well. So I think there is a Williams that is out first. It is Joe Royal on his debut race, the Williams driver. Maggie, I finished P12. Everybody behind me DNF, so I was basically the back marker. But silver is not my division. It really isn't. I think bronze would have been amazing to race in today, but you know, we need a commentator in bronze, and I really enjoy commentating on the racing in bronze. It's so clean, and the drivers are just so respectful, so it makes the commentators a lot better. So on board with Joe Royal in the Williams as he shoots down towards turn 1. Over the curb he goes, in towards turn 2 for the Williams driver. Now through the right-hander, that is turn 3. What can Joe Royal do as he goes up towards turn 4? This looks like a really neat sector 1 for the Williams. Goes a little bit wide. It takes a really wide line, trying to keep the pace flowing as he goes down towards turn 5. Just slightly downhill. And then we're going to go in towards turn 7 and 8. The trickiest part of the circuit here in Catalonia. Over the curb at 7. He's made a mistake, a slight mistake, but he's held on to it as he goes in towards turn 9. The DRS will kick in as well for the Williams driver. Joe Royal on his debut, the first driver out on track as well. There is no cobwebs on this driver. He wants to get out there and show them what he can do. No waiting around. Joe Royal round turn 12, down towards turn 13. Just got to watch out for that bump in the road that they're fixing, ironically, tomorrow. In towards turn 14, the DRS will kick in. The ERS is on, and Joe Royal in the Williams to the line at 1:11.6. It is the fastest time today, but for how long? Turbo Snail with a 1:12.1. Then we have a Sauber of Ghost coming through. B-Right has got a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Oster. He will be absolutely gutted about that. Dev P, the American driver. Ed Williams comes for a 1:12.1 for E. Williams, who is back on track. Goes with a 1:12.3. Dev P to the line, a 1:12.5 for the American. Here comes, it's Super Turbo with a 1:12.6, the San Marino driver. Then his teammate is going to be next to Fanfinus, the Dutch driver, to the line. Goes P2, a 1:11.8 for Fanfinus. What about Reese? We know he's the driver with pace. We know what he can do. And he's just started his flying lap, but there's actually a couple of drivers on laps. B Wright has just started his flying lap. I think there is a Ferrari that is turbo snail. We've got Nave Clark, we've got Ulster, we've got Dennis. I'm just trying to catch up with the leaders. They need to update the Haas colours because Haas are also red and so are Ferrari, which is really frustrating for me. The Williams driver coming down towards turn 10 now just shuts that rear wing. A little bit of a lock up there and the smoke just bursting off the tyres. Round turn 12 goes Reese. Needs to watch out for the bump in the road. In towards turn 13 for the Williams driver. And it's the Belgium of Dennis in the papaya that goes provisional pole with a 1:11.4. But what can Reese do? A 1:11.6. It's front row for the man from Britain and Belgium. The McLaren and the Williams. Joe Royal is right there as well. What a debut. What an opening lap for him. B Wright is going to be next in the Ferrari. Just coming down towards turn 13. There is a Haas in front of him. They both look like Ferraris on the track map, which is so frustrating for us. But here comes the three-time world champion of B Wright. Down to the line goes. And it goes P5. A 1:11.8. This is extremely close. It is so good to see. Strategy as well, back where he belongs. F1 Lexi in the Red Bull. We do have a McLaren just in front. We have yellow flags waving everywhere here in Catalonia. I'm just going to do a quick sound check, make sure that everything sounds okay, guys, because I can't listen to it whilst I'm commentating. I think I was a bit loud to the game volume, but I think I've sorted it. One sec. I think that's a bit low. Let me take it there and see what that sounds like. Right, that's a bit better. We'll rock with that. F1 Lexio 126.6. He's going to have to go again and do something special here. So, F1 Lexi, Super Turbo, Dev P, Ulster did get a lap in, but B Wright has left the session. Oh, he needs to get back in. I don't know what's happening with B right there. He's got a 5-place grid penalty and he's already left the session. Nave Clark and XD Paco. This is the man that everybody will be watching. XD Paco, the TTL driver with unbelievable pace. We will ride on board with the Oracle Red Bull for his opening lap here in Barcelona. XD Paco down the hill towards turn 1 we go. Goes out wide so he can dive into the first chicane over the curb at turn 2. Using the rest of the track as he goes round turn 3. F7R Jack is in. He's going to reserve as well. Great to see him on track. What's going on, Vixen? How you doing, mate? Through turn 4 goes XD Paco. And using that outside line just like Joe Royal did. Down towards turn 5 to the left-hander. A slight lock-up for XD Paco, but look at the pace that he brings as he exits the corner. In towards turn 7 and 8. Over the curb, makes a mistake, slips and slides, and he just holds on to it. XD Paco at the absolute limit here in Catalonia. And it just goes to show that one mistake. So XD Paco into turn 11 and 12 we go. Round turn 12, he needs a good exit. Will he still try and get this banker lap in? I think he will. He's still got 10 minutes to go. I think it's going to be extremely quick, even with that mistake. Round turn 14 goes XD Paco. Down to the line goes the Red Bull, and it's P2. Can you imagine what that lap would have been like without that slight mistake through the middle sector? That is incredible. That's what they were all worried about, and so they should be. Nave Clark in the Mercedes. It'll be interesting to see what this driver can do here. That was a beautiful entrance and exit out of that chicane. In towards turn 9, that DRS will kick in. That rear wing is open. That battery burning. And he goes purple sector 2 as well for Nave Clark. That was an extremely clean sector. What can he do now as he comes around to... Oh, he goes wide! How did he not invalidate it? But just at the last minute, he has messed up this lap. Hopefully not too much. But that will have definitely cost him as he comes to the line. It's a 1:12.1. It's P11. But can you imagine what it would have been had he not have gone wide out of turn 13? Dev P, the man from the US of A, is improving as he comes around turn 13. Down the hill towards turn 14 for the Alpine. Here comes Dev P. Somebody called 911. This is an incredible lap. It's up to P9. 5/10 of a second. It is so close. 6/10 of a second separate the top 12. Lewis W in the Aston Martin. What's going on, Jim? How you doing, mate? Vixen, you absolutely can jump in, mate. Yeah, because there's actually 2 spare seats, so you're more than welcome to come and race, mate. I will chuck you a quick invite. You are not there at the moment, but I'm guessing that's because you're not online. But I'll chuck you an invite as soon as you are online, mate. Some incredible laps being posted here. Turbo Snail in the Ferrari. We know he's got pace. Dima is an extremely quick driver, as he showed in Fantasy last season. So it'll be great to see what he can do. Fanfinus in the Visa Cash App Racing Bull. Just come in round turn 5 now, through turn 6 and then down towards turn 7 and 8. The left and right hander needs to get this right. He does get it right. It's a good exit as he goes up towards turn 9. DRS enabled for the RB. In towards turn 10, closes that rear wing. He is improving only by 2/100ths, but with it being so close here, he just needs a good sector 3. And the Flying Dutchman throws it round turn 13. Here, down to the hill towards turn 14. Into the final corner. Down to the line goes Fanfinus. It's a 1:11.7. And it stays P7. He did improve, but didn't improve position. Dima there just watching out for the other drivers. Good stuff from him. And that was an Aston Martin of Lewis W. The British driver goes up to P7. We now have 5 drivers separated by less than 1/10 of a second. 6 drivers separated by less than 1/10 of a second. It is so close. And that means when it's as close as this, it basically means the team at Formula 7 have done an exceptional job at making sure that the drivers are in the correct divisions. So when I see the drivers as close as this, it just means what a hell of a job the team have done, because they've got it absolutely bob on. They really have, because they've got it right with the drivers. I mean, there's a second separating the top 15 drivers. That was Reese who just come through. Reese has took that time away from XD Paco, and whilst we were chatting away, the Belgian driver of Dennis has gone even quicker with a 1:11.3, and I can see this being a very tasty battle. Vixen, you can pick whatever car you want, mate. Dennis, Reese, XD Paco, even B Wright and Joe Royal. Look how close that is, but look at the front two of the McLaren and the Williams. E. Williams has retired. Oh, he's lost it. The Alpine driver has crashed coming round turn 14. And E. Williams finally back on track. And it's not going the way he would have wanted. But he's just getting back into the swing of things. So Ghost, I think Ghost, literally, he's a very quick driver, but he's only just downloaded the game, the new game. So he's just got to give him a little bit of time to adapt. Oh, he smashed. Oh, Ed, I cannot believe you've done that. That's exactly what I did in qualifying. If you go back and watch Silver, I smashed it into the wall as I was going into the pits. Ghost is improving. Ghost is up to P8. Another driver in the 1:11.7s. Wow, wow, wow. Less than 1/10 of a second separates 7 drivers there. Less than a tenth between 7 drivers. Just let that sink in. It probably is rubbing off on you. XD Paco is improving 7/100ths of a second up as he comes in towards turn 9. DRS enabled for the Red Bull driver. And the Dutchman. So we've got a Belgium, a British and a Dutch in the top 3 at the moment. Strategy absolutely deserves to be there, and Joe Royal in the Williams puts in an exceptional lap and goes up to P3 on the second row of this grid. XD Paco is into the pit lane with just under 4 minutes to go, and Joe Royal has got a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. He will be devastated with that penalty. That's him and B Wright with 5-place grid penalties. That is not what they wanted to see. Frost, I can join if you want. If you want to join, mate, there is 1 seat left, I think. Is that Cryptic Salt? There is 1 seat left. So if you do want to come and join, you are more than welcome to, mate. You've got 3 minutes to get in and get a lap. Jay, the gold division is always at 7. It is, mate, unless it clashes with the F1. And then we move it. All the drivers are into the pit lanes. There's a couple of drivers on outlaps, Oster being one of them. It's 7:30 for fantasy, and it was 7:30 for realistic, but that's 7 as well now. Well, yeah, that's 7 as well. Yeah, that's it, Nick. Yeah, a few of the gold races in the coming weeks are a bit skewish, you know, with the Euros and stuff. It's a really awkward time to be racing on a Sunday. So Turbo Snail is on another lap. So is Dev P. Very close together on track. We've got a Mercedes of Nave Clark just about to start his flying lap. Dev P is down on his lap time. What about Turbo Snail? As he comes out of turn 4 down towards turn 5 for the Scuderia. I just texted Joe Royal back. Oh. What the hell has just happened there? So we are on board with Turbo Snail. He invalidated it, so he was just getting out of the way of the V-carb in front. And that is Super Turbo coming round turn 13. In towards turn 13, in towards turn 14, down towards the line goes Super Turbo, and it's a 1:12.0, and he's up to P12. Turbo Snail will go again. Nave Clark has backed out. Here comes Oster for his flying lap as well. He's currently in P17. Vixen in the McLaren is finally out on track. F1 Lexi in the Red Bull is currently in P6, but he is improving here in Catalonia. This is it, a minute to go. All the drivers, there's some drivers on outlaps who are going to push it really close to the line here. If they have to move out the way for a flyer, they are going to be in big trouble. F1 Lexi is backed out. B Right starts his flying lap. So does XD Paco, who's stuck behind a Scuderia there. Is that Scuderia on a flying lap? He is, and that's it. XD Paco can do no more. Who is that in the Ferrari? It's Turbo Snail, who has blocked the Red Bull driver of XD Paco. He needs to make sure he's being more aware when there's 30 seconds left of the race, of the qualifying session, and all the drivers are setting laps. He needs to be extremely careful. F1 Lexi will come to the line. He's going to have to go again. Dev P in the Alpine is improving even more, but he's going to need to find way more to move up a position. Stays in P11, and that is it for him. The Aston Martin of Dima is just about hit the line to get another lap in. Then we've got the RB of Fanforders coming through. There's a lot of drivers. There's so much going on track. Ulster goes up to P11. He can do no more. The McLaren of Dennis. Joe Royal has hit the checkered flag. Here comes Dennis, the Belgian driver. He's up on his lap time and improves a 1:11.2. There's a Mercedes driver coming as well. That is Nave Clark coming out of turn 14. Down towards the line he goes. Nave Clark goes up to P13. The McLaren of Vixen is going to be next. He moves out of the way of the Aston Martin. And he moves, and Cryptic Salt goes up to P18. We've got the Haas of Strategy up to P6. And Reese goes pole here in Barcelona. What a lap from Reese. That is incredible. XD Paco can do no more. F1 Lexi on the lap. So is Ghost as well. AMS Ghost is coming through out of turn 14 down towards line. Could he do it? Could he do it? He can't. Stays P9. F1 Lexi with the only chance. And he goes P3. What a lap. But Reese is impeccable. He's incredible. He's unbelievable. And he takes pole in Barcelona. So a little bit frustrating for some of the drivers. B right with a 5-place grid penalty. So did Joe Royal. That moves them down to P9 and P11. They will be absolutely gutted about that. XD Paco being blocked by the Scuderia on his last flying lap. He will be disappointed with that. But listen, it's the first race of the season. We need to improve on this, and we learn from things that happen on track. And we can only build on the first race of the season, can't we, guys? So it is Reese that takes pole position here in Catalonia. Dennis will start on the front row of the grid in the McLaren. On the second row of the grid, it's F1 Lexi in the Red Bull and Joe Royal in the Williams. On the third row of the grid, it's XD Paco in the Red Bull and B Wright in the Ferrari. On the fourth row of the grid, it's Strategy in the Haas and Lewis in the Aston Martin. And on the fifth row of the grid, it's Ghost and Fanfinus in the VCAB. It's Oster, Dima, Dev P, Nave Clark, Super Turbo, Turbo Snail, Ed Williams, Cryptic Salt, Jack and Vixen that complete your top 20 here in qualifying. Yeah, Turbo Snail, you know what, mate? You've got the pace, you're improving every week. You've just got to be a little bit more aware, especially when there's 1 minute left of qualifying. You know, especially in the top tier, there's going to be so many drivers on flying laps. Like, every single driver on the grid is going to be on a flying lap with a minute to go. So you've just got to be so much more aware. You can't sit in the middle of the track like that. But it is what it is, mate. We move on. Do you know what I mean? Wireless controller low. At least it'll get us to the end of the race. Turbo, it is what it is, mate. Mistakes happen. We move on. We learn from them. It's racing at the end of the day, mate. Don't stress about it. So formation lap is on, guys. Get them heat into the tyres. Thank you so much to everybody watching. We've got around 60 people watching the race at the moment. So the gold driver's definitely in good stead here. We are live streaming tonight, guys. We are live on Twitch. We are live on YouTube. We are live on TikTok. We are live on Twitter. We are live on Instagram. So no matter what platform you are on, you will be able to watch Formula 7 racing wherever you are here tonight. I've still got a little bit of lagging, which is annoying me a little bit, and I'm just wondering why that is. So I'm guessing it's just a little bit of overheating. I'm wondering if it's worth, taking this out. So I've got a little fan that goes on my computer just to cool it down, but because the computer blows out hot air, I'm wondering if the fan is blowing the hot air back into the computer. That's right, Nick. Yeah, that could be one of the reasons, mate. But also, I think one of the reasons is I've not got another Ethernet cable. I will order one tomorrow. So the computer's on Wi-Fi and the PS5 is on Ethernet. So I think that might be one of the reasons as well. So I just need to make sure that we can get an Ethernet cable into the computer as well. But it's round one. It's round one, guys. We move on. Do you know what I mean? The league is just huge at the moment, which is amazing for us. And finally, these incredible drivers are getting the recognition. Here we go. This is it for round one here in the gold division. And it's lights out and away we go. Reese and Dennis shoot down towards turn one here in Catalonia. XD Pack already through on his teammate of F1 Lexi. He's going to try and go up the inside of the papaya of Dennis. And he does go up the inside. The two TTL drivers scrapping it out for P2 here in Barcelona. It is Dennis that stays in front. XD Pack with his teammate of Lexi. Strategy, Lewis, Ghost, Joe Royal is there as well in the Williams. Dima is from Fanfordist. There's so many drivers that are side by side. Ulster and Super Turbo as well, as Ulster goes round the outside of the RB. Dev P on Turbo Snail as well, the American driver, but it's Vixen who's had a mistake at the back. Dev P and E. Williams just holding back at the moment. Turbo Snail in the Scuderia trying to make a move, but it is Reese halfway through lap one that is still your race leader. Dennis in the McLaren in P2, XD Pack win P3, F1 Lexi P4, Strategy P5. Lewis in the Aston Martin still in P6. Fan finishes through on his teammate of Super Turbo as well, and he's coming back at him. The V-Cabs are not giving each other a position here. Dima is through on Nave Clark as one of the Mercedes goes wide. That is Nave Clark that went wide and lost the position to the Aston Martin. There's so much happening, so much action. Dev P is through on Turbo Snail as we go down towards turn 13 and 14, and that is two cars that just went off there. That was Vixen and Dev P in the Alpine just losing a position, and Dima already with a 3-second time penalty. B right already up to P9 and on the back of Joe Royal, who also got a 5-place grid penalty. And it is an amazing start here in Catalonia. No incidents thus far. Turbo Snail goes round in the Scuderia. And here comes Jack. He is on the inside of Dev P and his teammate of E. Williams, the two Alpine drivers. One from America, one from the UK, who are teammates here this season. That is Cryptic Salt that is through on Fanfinus. That is B Right that is through on Joe Royal. And the Williams driver on the mediums is struggling to stay pace with B Right on the softs. That is Jack that is through on Dev P. Oster on the back of Fanfinus as well as they come out of turn 7 and 8 and up towards turn 9. And it is the Haas trying to make a move, and that is Dima in the Aston Martin who goes up the inside of Joe Royal, who's also on the softs as well. So Joe just trying to race his own race at the moment. He's on the medium tyres. He's going to be slower at this stage. Oh, and there goes the Aston Martin who makes a slight mistake coming out of turn 12. They go wheel to wheel through turn 13. Incredible racing. Wow. Ghost with a 3-second time penalty. That Mercedes is going to open the rear wing. Here comes Nave Clark on Joe Royal. They're both on the medium compound tyres. There's also a move going on here. That's B Right on Ghost into turn 1. The Ferrari is in front. Nave Clark in the Mercedes makes the move on the Williams, and what a move it was. It was delicious. Cryptic Soul in the Sauber trying to make a move on Super Turbo in the RB in front. So many overtakes. What did we see in 2023? 107 overtakes. I think we might beat that tonight. Strategy in the Haas on the back of F1 Lexi. Lewis in the Aston Martin. B right now up to P7, up 4 places. There's so much going on. There is a yellow flag though. That is a Ferrari at the back. That is Turbo Snail who's just really struggling to keep hold of that Scuderia. Dennis down to P3. Reese is still your race leader, and he's got the DRS away from the drivers behind, which is exactly what he wanted to do, especially when that DRS kicks in just after 2 laps now. Every single driver from P2 all the way down to P17 is locked in a DRS train. a few drivers going wide. XD Paco sets the fastest lap of this Grand Prix. Can be right, make another move on Lewis. That is Dima in the Aston Martin that goes through on the Sauber into turn 1. Makes it stick. Cryptic Salt is right in the mix of things. So is Vixen in the McLaren. He's even going to try and go for a move round the outside of the Haas. E. Williams on the back of Jack. Dev P is there as well. Remember, it's going to be really difficult for the two Alpines. E. Williams back on track after a long layoff. He's only going to get better though. Turbo Snail calls it a day on lap 4. Nave Clark is through on Ghost, the Mercedes driver, and he sees the Aston Martin in front make a mistake. He might even try and get another move. That is Dima that goes out wide. And Nave Clark sees a slight opening. And that is Cryptic Salt on Super Turbo. And he is through. And the San Marino driver just has to slot in behind him. Oh, he hits the curb. He does have Fanfinis, his teammate, on his tail. And he does go wide there. That Super Turbo that goes wide. And his teammate of Fanfinis is through. That is Dennis on XD Paco. Dennis in the McLaren is back up to P2. There is a Ferrari out on track. This is not good. And it is Reese. And the Ferrari pulls over to the left. He is still clear. XD Paco and Dennis squabbling for that P2 position. We are only 5 laps in. That is Dima onto the gravel. Dima in the Aston Martin. He's gone wide a couple of times already. And he goes wide again. And into the gravel goes the Aston Martin driver. Dev P, E. Williams and Jack all pick up positions. But, you know, you look at this grid and you might go all the way down to P19 or P18 or P17 and go, Jesus, they're having a bad race. But if you look at the times, like if we go to the leader here, there's a gap of 15 seconds separating the whole grid on lap 5. That is minimal in the scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things. That is minimal. It is so close. So E. Williams has just got an overtake on Jack. Dima has retired in the pit lane. He's called it a day. He was well still within his rights in this race. But that is both reserves out before lap 7. So Lewis W. In the Aston Martin. On the back of Strategy, who's in P5. He's having a really good race actually. And a race 2.1 clear is on a different level here in Spain. He's been putting the practice in and it's absolutely paying off. And that looked like a little mistake from Joe Royal there, I think it was. And he went a little bit wide. The DRS kicks in for Cryptic Salt. And the two RBs, Super Turbo, staying with Fanfinis at the moment. Yeah, Red, I was just saying the same thing. It's great to see Ed and Dev P on. Oh, and Vixen spun it. The McLaren of Vixen is round. He was having a good race. But yeah, it's great to see Dev P and Ed Williams. Also teammates as well. That is XD Paco that is through on the McLaren. And the Dutch driver is through on the Belgium. That is Cryptic Salt that is through on Joe Royal and up to P10. And both Saubers are into the points here in Spain. That is Vixen that is out in the pit lane as well. Third retirement, but all reserve drivers. That's a real shame that the drivers have give up so quickly when having one mistake. A real shame. Because there's so much that can happen. So Super Turbo, he made that mistake. His teammate got through and he's just not been able to recover thus far. Joe Royal on his debut race has done exceptionally well actually, only because of that 5-place grid penalty that he's that far down. But remember, he's on a different strategy to most of these drivers. A lot of the drivers in front of him are on soft tyres, and a lot of them are on mediums as well. Reese, XD Paco comes through, so does Dennis. It's F1 Lexi in P4, XD Paco setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, Strategy in P5, Lewis in P6, B Right in P7, Nave Clark in P8. Then there's a break of DRS to AMS Ghost, and then Cryptic Salt. That is Joe Royal that comes through, and the Williams driver is back up to P10, makes that recovery move. What about Oster on the back of Super Turbo? He's going to struggle with both them RBs so closely tied together. And Oster just watches on E. Williams. So the thing is about E. Williams, he's in P15, but he's the only driver barring Fanfinus that is on the hard compound tyres. Oh, Reese goes wide. It's so good to see these drivers. It's brilliant. So we are on lap 8 here in Barcelona with everything still to play for. Oh, and that's a huge mistake there from Fanfinus, and just tried to stop his teammate from getting through, and they nearly had it coming together. Oster is all over the rear diffuser, and he's going to make the move, and Fanfinus does on Joe Royal as well. What about Oster? He's coming right round the outside, but down the inside goes Super Turbo, and it's a 2-for-1 for the RB. What a recovery there for Super Turbo. Makes the move. Nothing Joe Royal or Oster could do about it. Yellow flags are waving. That's Ghost that's round the Sauber driver into turn 5. Spins it. Lap 9. And he's made his first mistake of the race. Hopefully he can recover from that. He's not too far down. Oster still struggling to get through, and here he comes on Joe Royal, the Haas driver, with that DRS enabled. Down towards turn 10 we go, and later on the brakes goes Oster, and Joe Royal, with a great spatial awareness, just backs out of that one. So Nave Clark in the Mercedes, all of them with them rear wings open, apart from Cryptic Salt, who is 5 seconds behind, so he's going to get eaten up here by the RB of Fanfinus, and the Dutch driver is going to come through, and Fanfinus up to P9 in the RB. Joe Royal has pitted in the Williams, maybe realises that he's going to have to go for an undercut here, so into the pit lane goes the Williams driver, and is he going to go onto a set of hard compounds? I think so. He's got front wing damage. That's why he was losing so much time. You've got to feel for the Williams driver at this stage with front wing damage. Dev P is through on Ghost, who spins it again. The heated tyres, the left compound tyres on this track. I know in real life it's really tough on the lefts, but on this game it's even worse. XD Paco on the back of Dennis. Reese still 1.8 seconds clear. Oster is finally through on Super Turbo and gets the move done. The Haas. Super Turbo now has Ed Williams in the Alpine right on his tail and looking for a way through. Super Turbo might even lose DRS to Oster here, which will leave him like a sitting duck for the Alpine behind. He is going to lose that DRS, so E. Williams should get this move done. That is XD Paco through on Dennis and back up to P2, but we go back on board with E. Williams. DRS enabled. He's going to make it look easy, and through goes E. Williams in the Alpine on the RB of Super Turbo. Oster is through on Cryptic Salt as well. Dennis and XD Paco, because they're continuously helping each other and using that DRS, they're actually catching up to Reese here. Only 1.5 seconds is the gap now. I've got to say though, the consistency for F1 Lexi, Strategy, Lewis, B Right and Nave Clark has been exceptional here. So Cryptic Salt in the Sauber, currently in P11, and then we've got Super Turbo, who has gifted a position there to E. Williams. He's also got Jack on his tail in the Mercedes, who just slides around turn 9. Ghost is into the pit lane and he's back out again on them hard compounds. And Reese is just coming down the pitch straight now. We are on lap 12. Are we going to see any early pit stops? And Dennis is not able to make the move, and that is E. Williams up to P11 as Cryptic Salt does go into the pit lane. Joel Royal with that 3-second time penalty. I don't think it'll be too costly at this stage. And that is E. Williams through on Oster, the Alpine driver. Can Oster get the old switcheroo as he gets pushed wide and onto the gravel? Oster loses another position, and now here comes Jack in the Mercedes trying to make a move as well. A little bit of argy-bargy between E. Williams and Oster there. Getting a little tasty through Sector 1. Dennis still on the back of XD Paco with that DRS. The camera angles on F124 are actually incredible. They really are. They've really upped their game in terms of spectator mode. So into the pit lane goes B right. Oh, he is going really quick there. Oh, it's so costly now speeding into the pit lane. 10 seconds is absolutely brutal. XD Paco is now 0.4 of a second behind Reese. Reese seems to be struggling. B right is into the pit lane. So is Oster. So they are going for the undercuts. Will it work? So 13 laps in, 20 to go. Here in the gold division for Formula 7 racing. There's Cryptic Salt that has come out just in front of Oster. He will not be happy about that. Joel Royal is there as well. So Reese currently in the lead of this Grand Prix, but look how close XD Paco is to the back of the Williams now. This is going to be interesting. Here comes XD Paco. Is Reese going to be able to fend the attack off of XD Paco? Down the pit straight we go. Nave Clark with the time penalty. Strategy is into the pit lane. Here comes XD Paco in towards turn 1, and he just doesn't have enough track to make the overtake. Dennis is right there as well. So is F1 Lexi. The two Red Bulls are in special positions here. Strategy is into the pit lane. So is Super Turbo and Jack. Where does Strategy come out? He's been Mr. Consistent so far in this Grand Prix. And is he going to come out into some nice clean free air? And he does come out back in front of B right, but B right will have to heat into the tyres. He's got to try and make the attack now whilst them tyres are warm and his are cold. And Cryptic Soul is through on Jack. Here comes Oster. Jack is going to separate them. No, it's the RB that comes out. Jack in the Mercedes comes out behind Oster, but in front of Joe Royal. So will XD Paco make the move on this lap? Or will he go into the pit lane, Reese? He seems to be losing a little bit of time now to the drivers behind. And then podium positions are wide open for the drivers. Reese will go into the pit lane. XD Paco will now be your race leader. Dennis stays out as well. F1 Lexi goes into the pit lane. Reese is in. F1 Lex is in. Lewis is in. Nath Clark is in. Nath Clark, I think, has hit the wall at some point going into the pit lane there. That'll be really unfortunate for him because he's having an amazing race. So Reese is onto the hard compound tyres. So XD Paco and Dennis did stay out. The problem is the Red Bulls couldn't double stack because they were so close together on track. Strategy and B right. Here comes B right, and he is in front of Strategy and also in front of Lewis. The Ferrari driver is up to P7. Strategy and Lewis are wheel to wheel as he comes out of the pit lane, but it is Strategy that's in front and in P8. Joe Royal in the Williams gets the move done on the Mercedes of Jack. And Dennis will have that rear wing open as he comes down towards turn 10. Super close to the Red Bull in front. Round turn 13 and then down towards, round turn 12 in towards turn 13. down towards turn 14, and the McLaren is into the pit lane. Dennis is into the pits. He needs to make sure he doesn't speed. Oh God, I've got to say, it's one of the worst penalties that you can get. I've said it forever. Like, the worst penalty is speeding into the pit lane. It is so unnecessary. Super unnecessary. So Dennis is into the pit lane. Where does Reese come out compared to the Belgian driver? Dennis is on his way out of the pit lane. The Williams of Reese is coming. The McLaren's there. B-Right sets the fastest lap. Here comes Reese to go back in front of the McLaren driver, but Dennis will be happy to where he's come out behind the Williams, and he's just struggling. He just wants to get heat into them tyres as quick as possible. He's losing a little bit of time. Here comes B-Right, and B-Right has spun it. He tried to make a move on F1 Lexi, and the race that he was having was brilliant, and it's just gone from bad to worse for the Ferrari driver. He had a little snap after the spin there. Here comes Cryptic Salt and Ulster on the back of Super Turbo. So unfortunate for B-Right. There is a yellow flag waving as well, and that is Dennis. Dennis has spun it. Unbelievable. Two of the championship contenders of Dennis and B-Right on the opening race of the season have both spun it here in Catalonia halfway through this Grand Prix. XD Paco is now in to the pits, so is Ghost, who retires. Not his race today. Fanfidis is now your race leader. Ed Williams in P2. XD Paco, here comes Reese. Where does XD Paco come out? The Red Bull driver is going to come out behind Reese, and quite a bit behind Reese. And F1 Lexi is going to come through as well. Is he going to stay behind his teammate or make the move? F1 Lexi switches back. F1 Lexi is absolutely unforgiving to his teammate. He is going for it here. And this is not a good strategy for the Red Bull team. Oh, this is so close. F1 Lexi slots back in behind XD Paco. Is that a move to say, right, I'm not going to attack, go ahead? But he is 2.4 behind Reese. 17 laps in, and it is, sorry, 1 second guys, just bear with me 1 second. So, we are on board with strategy. There's so much going on here. Ulster's going for a move on Cryptic Salt, and he nearly clatters into the RB of Super Turbo, but Ulster in the Haas is through and up to P12. Can Cryptic Salt respond down the inside? Here comes the Sauber as they go up towards turn 4. He is going to have the inside line, and the Sauber driver on the Haas. They are wheel to wheel. Ulster has the speed as he comes round. He will have the inside line in towards turn 5, and Ulster will stay in front of Cryptic Salt. What about F1 Lexi on his teammate? He's still there, but he's 2.2 behind Reese. And E. Williams and Fanfidis still yet to pit. And E. Williams finally goes into the pit lane. And the Alpine driver is in. Fanfidis stays out. Reese is now back into P2. XD back on his tail. F1 Lexi is going to come through. F1 Lexi has gone for a move on his teammate. Incredible scenes as F1 Lexi has gone for the move and overtaken his teammate. They are on for really good points here as well. Will definitely be the constructors' leaders if it stays like this. B-Right chasing down Dennis, both the spinners. Ulster is through on Super Turbo. He got through Cryptic Salt last lap. He's through on Super Turbo this lap. Joel Royal is just starting to catch back up to them as well. And FP is into the pit lane. He retires. He's not had a good race here. You've got a feel for him. This has been a really good race so far. 14 laps to go. Super Turbo on the back of Oster. Oh, Oster's spun it. The Haas driver has made a mistake. Fanfinis is into the pit lane. That means Reese is back into the lead of the Grand Prix. Wow, that was a big slide from Oster, and it will leave him open for the attack here. Dennison B right through on Fanfinis. Here comes Super Turbo, who's going to make the move on Oster. That DRS will be enabled, and here comes the RB on the Haas, and he will move to the left. So does Oster in the Haas. They're wheel to wheel, and he does go through, and finally gets through. Cryptic Soul just watches on as these two squabble for position in front, just hoping that they have a tangle together. So XD Paco 2.1 behind the leader of Reese with 13 laps to go. Then you've got F1 Lexi there in the other Red Bull as Dennis in the McLaren spun it on the opening lap after the pit lane. Not the opening lap after the pit lane, but you know what I mean. Oster with that 3-second time penalty. Strategy in P4, Lewis in P5, Nave Clark in P6. Dennis is there as well. So is B right on his tail. The Ferrari on the papaya of the McLaren. Oster in the Haas, Cryptic Salt in the Sauber. XD Paco sets the fastest lap of this Grand Prix on lap 21. It is so close. Joe Royal is right back in this as well. He's on the back of Cryptic Salt. Oh, he goes wide there. Cryptic Salt maybe got a warning. And there goes Ed Williams on Fanfinis. And the British driver on the Dutch driver, and the Alpine is up to P9. Here comes the Haas of Oster down the inside on Super Turbo. The San Marino driver struggling to keep with the Haas, who rides the curb, nearly loses it. And they're both going to come back at him. It's Super Turbo and it's Cryptic Salt as well, who's looking for a move round the outside. The Sauber driver on the Haas. But the Haas driver will have the inside line as they come through turn 4 and down towards turn 5. What about Joel Royal in the Williams as well? Trying to squeeze through the gap and not able to get it done this time. Extremely close, but wow, what battling between the drivers. I appreciate it, Doug. Thanks, mate. So, Oster still looking for a move on Super Turbo. These will really be enjoying this battle, I tell you they will. 11 laps to go. Let's just have a look at the tyres. So, XD Paco 2 laps fresher than Reese. And then you've got Fanfinis and E. Williams, who are in really strong positions, actually. I didn't realise how strong they were. They're a lot fresher tyres. But here comes Fanfinis on E. Williams. To be honest, they want to be helping each other out at this stage. Here comes Super Turbo and Oster once again. Oster is through. And Super Turbo is going to come back through on Oster. Wow, what a move that was from the San Marino driver. What about Cryptic Salt as well? Is he going to try and lunge up the inside of the house? He does. They nearly touch, but they don't touch, which is really good racing. Joel Royal watching on in the Williams behind. Cryptic Salt all over the rear diffuser of the Haas in front. Fanfinis and E. Williams are catching up to B right at the moment. Lewis W on the back of Strategy. These it's anybody's podium here because they're all still locked within that DRS range. Ten laps to go here in Catalonia for the Spanish Grand Prix. What about the drivers behind? They've had so much action, haven't they? These drivers behind, and once again Oster's going to try and go for the move on Super Turbo. Ed Williams is back through on Fanfinis. In towards turn 1 goes the Alpine on the RB. Oster goes through on the other RB as well. The Haas driver. What about Joe Royal? He's through on Cryptic Salt in the Sauber. Joe Royal getting in on the action now. The Williams on the Sauber goes through. Oster on the RB goes through, and Ed Williams on Fanfinis, but Fanfinis got it right back. XD Paco is closing in on Reese. It's 1.1 seconds now. Good spot there, Jim. XD Paco, 1 second. He's nearly within DRS range, and his tyres are 2 laps fresher So that's a lot to think about now for Reese and what he does in terms of strategy. Super Turbo on the back of Ulster. Is he going to go for the move here, or is he going to wait for the pitch straight? He's absolutely going to wait for the pitch straight. Oh, he slides and loses it again, Ulster. That's the second time he's done that. And he's now opened the door for Joe Royal, who will try and go round the outside. Lewis is throwing strategy for P4, the Aston Martin driver on the Haas. Nath Clark is there as well. Joe Royal, Ulster, Super Turbo, another mistake from the Haas driver, but he's still in this race, and he's going to have a chance to get it back off Super Turbo down the pitch straight with that DRS enabled. Here comes Joe Royal as well in the Williams. They're going to go free wide in towards turn one, and Joe Royal is finally through on the lot of them. E. Williams on the tail of Fanfana still. Look at this. XD Paco is half a second behind Reese. How has he done that? He was nearly 3 seconds behind. Sorry guys, my it's crashing quite a bit there, isn't it? 1 second. The stream is crashing quite a bit, and I don't know why. XD Paco just weaving behind. Is he waiting for a better opportunity? So Joe Royal has been overtaken by Ulster there as well. E. Williams and Fanfus are not catching up to B right, but they should be doing, especially considering the tyres are so much fresher. I think the game's lagging a lot because we're streaming to like 6 different platforms. So I will take a look at that, guys. Maybe take one of them off. So I do apologise if you're trying to watch and it's a little bit laggy. I do apologise. I will try and sort it out. That is XD Paco that is into the lead of this Grand Prix. He is through on Reese. Sorry guys, I'm trying to look at the stream. It's really bad, and I can only apologise if you're trying to watch it. So XD Paco is finally through on Reese, and into the lead of the Grand Prix goes the Dutchman. Reese in P2, F1 Lexi in P3, who is trying to catch up to Reese as well. You got Lewis, then strategy. Joe Royal is through on Ulster. In towards turn one goes the Williams. What about Super Turbo? Is he going to see an opening on the Haas? Round the outside, he's going to go. And then switches to the inside. Nath Clark with a 3-second time penalty. Super Turbo is going to go for the move on Ulster, and he does get the move. Can Reese respond to XD Paco? He will have that DRS as they go down the pitch straight though. 7 laps remaining. No VSC, no safety car, all DNFs in the pit lane. It's been a very clean Grand Prix. Here comes Reese with that DRS. He was your race leader last lap, and he's going to start this lap as your race leader again. Reese in the Williams back into the lead. Strategy is through on Lewis as well, the Haas driver on the Aston Martin. Nath Clark is into the pit lane. Wow, with 6 laps to go, Nath Clark has pitted. Surely that's going to have lost him so many positions. But were his tyres dead? You just don't know. So E. Williams now up to P9. Fanfinis is catching up to B right now. So are them tyres of the drivers in front starting to fall off? And the drivers behind are starting to come into play. So that is Super Turbo through on Joe Royal. These have just been battling all race, haven't they? Which is great to see. That's exactly what you want to see. It's been action-packed from start to finish. Fan finish with a 3-second time penalty. Here comes XD Paco. F1 Lexi is nearly within DRS range as well. Here comes XD Paco. Is he going to go for it? He's not. He's going to back out. I think he's just trying to be a little bit cautious now. Lewis on strategy, the Aston Martin driver, stays on the rear diffuser. What about Fanfinis on B right? Fanfinis is going to go for it. They have caught B right at an absolute rapid pace here. What about E Williams as well, who's going to try and go down the inside? And the Alpine does go down the inside, and there's a snap from B right in the Scuderia there. So E Williams and Fanfinis are through. They were 2 seconds behind him last lap, and they've caught up to him so much. Here comes Oster in the Haas on Joe Royal. 3 of them still battling like they have done for the last 15 laps. Oster in the Haas will try and go up the inside of Joe Royal in that Williams. He'll switch to the outside as they go in towards turn 4. It is Reese that is still your race leader. XD Paco as they go in towards turn 12. He's going to be right on his tail. F1 Lex is there as well. Oster is through on Joe Royal, but he goes wide and he lets Super Turbo through. Joe Royal has made a mistake as well. And Cryptic Salt is back through. Can XD Paco make a move with 5 laps remaining? XD Paco has that DRS enabled, but he is just being patient now. He is being really patient, and F1 Lexi is starting to catch up. Lewis also being patient on the back of strategy. B right is into the pit lane. Wow, were his tyres that dead? That is going to put him right to the back. Nave Clark setting the fastest lap of this Grand Prix, so B right was always going to get caught there. And all the other drivers are going to come through, and B right is going to be at the back of this grid. So the 2 Red Bull drivers looking for a double podium here. This is going to be good timing as well, because the Euros matches kicked off 3 minutes ago. So as soon as the race is finished, I won't do any interviews. We'll just jump straight into the... we'll finish it off, and then everybody can go and watch the Euros, which is exactly what I'm going to do as well. So, Joe Royal on the back of Cryptic Salt. We're just keeping an eye on this B right with a 3-second time penalty. It's not the race he would have wanted. Here comes XD Paco. And wow, Reese moved over late there, and XD Paco was well aware of it. And into the lead of the Grand Prix with 3 laps to go is XD Paco. F1 Lexi is there as well. What about Lewis on the back of strategy? Is he being patient and waiting for the end of this Grand Prix? Super Turbo on the back of Oster as they come out of turn 13 in towards turn 14. Remember, this is for the final point in P10, so this is crucial for these guys. Here comes Super Turbo on Oster, moves to the right hand side. Joe Royal and Cryptic Salt behind as well will also make a move, and it is Super Turbo through on Oster. Joe Royal in the Williams cannot hold on to the position, and Cryptic Salt is back through. They nearly touch, but it is the Sauber that stays in front. Here comes Reese in the Williams, wheel to wheel for the lead of this Grand Prix. Reese in the Williams, XD Paco in the Red Bull, who just backs out there. F1 Lexi can see it getting tasty in front, and he would love nothing more than these two to get tangled up together, and he be left out for the lead of this Grand Prix. On to lap 31 we go. But it is going to be Reese that leads again. But XD Paco will take it off him before they even reach turn 1. XD Paco in the Red Bull back into the lead of this Grand Prix. F1 Lexi will start to get involved as he's invited into the action. And Reese, his tyres 2 laps older than XD Paco's, so he will start to feel that as well. But it's difficult to shake off a driver from DRS around here. And Reese will know that. He's just got to be patient. Maybe Reese stays where he is now and holds on to this. But the only problem that they've got now, the problem that Reese has got, is that they've invited F1 Lexi to join the battle. And F1 Lexi is XD Paco's teammate, which basically means Reese cannot hold back here. If he holds back on the back of XD Paco and waits for an opportunity at the end of lap 32, he invites the pressure of F1 Lexi, and if he goes for the move, he will overtake Reese, and then Reese is left in P3, having to overtake two Red Bull drivers, with 2 laps to go. So Reese will have to maybe go for the move here, unless F1 Lexi is too far back. F1 Lexi is going to go for it, and Reese maybe could potentially hold off as well. He's going to go for it. He's going to go for it wheel to wheel with XD Paco. F1 Lexi licking his lips behind as they go wheel to wheel. Here comes F1 Lexi in the Red Bull. He's trying to squeeze in between the two of them. F1 Lexi will try and go around the outside. It is XD Paco and Reese. This is incredible on lap 32 of 33. Reese and XD Paco, nothing to separate them. F1 Lexi is right on their tail as well, as they have a little coming together. Lexi just trying to find his way through at this point. In towards turn 7 and 8 they go. Reese and XD Paco are doing themselves no favours here. 0.2 of a second separate the top 3 drivers with a lap and a half to go. Reese is still behind XD Paco. That's exactly what he needed. He will now have the opportunity to get the overtake on XD Paco, basically on the last overtaking point, other than turn 9 to turn 10. XD Paco goes wide there to get a better exit. He will take the corner cut at this point to try and stay in front. Here comes Reese, DRS enabled. ERS is on, into the slipstream he goes. Reese is putting it all down on the line, and Reese in the Williams on the last lap of this Catalonia Grand Prix is into the lead. What can XD Paco do? He has to respond at this point. F1 Lexi is there. B-Right is from Cryptic Soul, who spins it. But what an amazing battle at the front of this Grand Prix. XD Paco goes up the inside of the Williams driver. In towards turn 4 they go. Down the hill towards turn 5. The Williams will have the inside line. XD Paco round the outside in the Red Bull. Down towards turn 7 and 8. This is incredible. XD Paco is back into the lead of this Spanish Grand Prix. Reese will have the DRS as they go down towards turn 10. He's got to make it work now. DRS enabled. ERS is on. He will have to go the long way round. And he does go the long way round. Have they opened up the door for F1 Lexi? XD Paco still in front, but he has a time penalty as well. Reese is on for the win here in Spain. F1 Lexi was waiting for an opening, and it never came. But it's going to be XD Paco that crosses in first position. But it's going to be Reese that wins here in Spain. F1 Lexi takes P2. XD Paco takes P3. Strategy did P4. Lewis P5. What an ending to this race. What a Grand Prix. B right there chasing down Super Turbo. Maybe he can get him to the line. It's not going to mean anything. It will actually get him a point. Oh no, because Super Turbo doesn't have a time penalty, so it won't matter at this point. And Super Turbo goes up to P10 and will take the final point here in Spain. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Reese, no, I'm just going to skip interviews only because the Euros has just started, you know, the last games. I want to see how Scotland get on, so I'm going to go and watch the Euros. And I'll let everybody jump off and go and watch the Euros as well, especially with 2 German drivers on the grid as well. Look at that. Reese with the win. What a race. Well done, Reese. That was incredible. And well done to XD Paco and F1 Lexi as well. It takes 2 to tango, as they say. And you can't have a race like that on your own. So let's go into the final standings. It is Reese that is your race leader here in Spain. F1 Lexi takes P2 and XD Paco takes P3. Strategy P4 and Lewis P5. Dennis P6, E Williams P7. Fanfin is P8. Nave Clark P9 and Super Trubo P10. It annoys me how quickly that it goes now. You know the timer. It starts like really quick, so I can't get as much information as I want. Also, driver of the day is going to go... oh, it's a tough one, driver of the day. I'm going to go... I'm going to go F1 Lexi. But what a race. I could have given it to Race, actually, to be fair. That was an amazing performance. Or even XD Paco. Right, guys, what a race it's been. Make sure you tune in as we are back tomorrow for Fantasy F7. Remember, if you want to come and join, if you're watching on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter or Instagram, or X as they call it, if you want to come and join, the Discord link will be in the bios to any of them social media platforms. So if you want to come and join, just come and join through the links. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Doug. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the support. Formula 7 is just amazing at the moment. We've got so much talent here. We'll be back tomorrow for Fantasy. We'll be back on Wednesday for Realistic. And we'll be back next Sunday for the Austria